Hi, this is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee, and I'm back with another installment in what is the apparently unintentional series on tactical headsets that I've begun, but we're on this train, so we might as well stay with it for a little bit longer. What today's video is about, and this kind of tickled me a little bit, because when I started talking about the first set of tactical headset kits, I immediately had a lot of people actually asking me, hey, are there any PTT options for the Yaesu FT-65, which does my heart good because I'm a big fan, as you might know, of the Yaesu FT-65. It's the first operator series that I did. I think very highly of this radio. And it's my personal belief that this should be everybody's first ham radio, not a Baofeng or any of that other stuff. Starting out with an FT-65 is a terrific start. It's an excellent little radio and it doesn't cost a heck of a lot. A lot of people feel the same way, and apparently a lot of people want to run tactical headsets through that. So the question is, because you won't find any PTT options that specifically say this is for a Yaesu FT-65, fortunately there are options for it. And what you have to understand first off is about the plug arrangement on a Yaesu FT-65. Now, as you can see, I have a PTT hooked up to a Yaesu FT-65. And at first glance, when you see this plug, a lot of people think, well, that looks like a Baofeng plug. Well, it's not. It's actually a good bit different. If you're familiar with this particular radio, you know that, now this is, if I can get this out, there we go. My goodness, not working for me. So this is a typical Baofeng plug, and it mounts up like this. You'll note right away the difference between the two plugs. First off, it's a 2-pin arrangement. It does use a 3.5 and a 2.5 millimeter plug. But you'll note on the Baofeng plug, which I have on the left here, the larger diameter plug, the 3.5, is on the bottom. On the FT-65 unit, it's on the top. There's also a difference in terms of the spacing. Now what this plug is, and when I did my first video on the Yaesu FT-65, I was in that I don't know what I don't know kind of zone, and I had mentioned that I thought this was some kind of proprietary plug. It's not. What Yaesu decided to do is they wanted to go with a very simple 2-pin layout, and they didn't want to use a typical Baofeng plug because I don't think they wanted their radios to be associated with that particular crowd of radio, particularly since when the FT-65 first came out, it was being produced in China. It isn't anymore. It's produced in Japan now. But they elected to go instead with the Motorola M1 plug. So this is a Motorola design, and if you are searching for PTTs, the good news is you see a lot of examples of actually a couple of different Motorola plugs. They have a single pin plug, they have a 2-pin plug, and then they have the one that bolts onto the side that actually doesn't have the pins that go into the radio. It's actually the contacts that engage the contact board on the side of the radio. I don't know what the exact nomenclature and terminology is for that. It's not necessarily important. The important part is, though, the Motorola 2-pin plug that most of these PTTs reference is the same plug that works with the Yaesu FT-65. Now, I wanted to confirm this before I made that supposition, so I need to confirm that by actually plugging it in. And since I own an FT-65, I wanted to rig the headsets up for it anyway. And I was able to find Motorola 2-pin plug arrangements in the 2 different types of PTT units that you might need. As a quick reminder, the PTT units for the tactical headset kits for the Active Ear Pro that I've talked about, and also for the imitation ComTacs, those are all manufactured by a company called TacSky or Z-Tac. They utilize what they call commercial wiring. So for some inexplicable reason, they've decided to depart from the NATO wiring specifications, and they've gone with a civilian plug layout. So you need that type of plug arrangement for those type of headsets. So again, if it's an imitation ComTac or if it's a tactical headset kit like this, that's made by TS Vision, you need the PTT that has the civilian plug layout. However, if you're using the EARMOR M32, you have to have the NATO plug layout. And EARMOR also manufactures PTT units with the Motorola 2-pin plug. And now the difference in terminology, these are generically called U94 PTTs. I misnomered this. I'm learning a lot more about EARMOR, by the way. I have a lot of stuff to clear up on my next video when I get to that upgraded set of EarPro that EARMOR puts out. I made a lot of bad nomenclature references there, but this is not a U94 PTT. EARMOR calls it an M51. So the M51 PTT comes in the Motorola 2-pin plug arrangement. Good news is they work with the FT-65 just fine. So if you're an FT-65 owner and you have an EARMOR M32 headset unit, you can buy from them, and I'll provide links in the description where I got these actually from Amazon. But whether it's from the EARMOR site or whether it's from Amazon, the M51 that is made for the Motorola 2-pin plug arrangement will work with the FT-65. Works very well. I'm not going to do an audio test because there's really no difference over the previous audio tests that I did. They work just fine. I have no complaints. I tested these out thoroughly and no problem whatsoever. Everything plugs in just fine. So for the EARMORs, you need that M51 that they manufacture. And again, for the tactical headset kit, you need to buy a U94 civilian wired PTT for the Motorola 2-plug. Now, this one that I bought, I want to talk about this for just a second. So let me get this out of the way here. And I want to show you a couple of things, because I'm finding a lot of people, despite what I've said about the EARMOR M32, there's a lot of people that are still loving this particular unit, myself included. So let me talk a little bit about this U94 PTT that I bought, because it's different than the one that I got with the headset kit. Now let me grab that real fast. This is the one that I got from with the headset kit. And you'll notice this one that I have here is quite a bit different in terms of how it looks. The button is different, it's larger. The clips remain about the same, although one big difference is this clip is reversible. You can flip it to the other side. You can undo the screws and mount it on this side if you need a different kind of arrangement. That's kind of cool. This also has kind of a rubberized coating on it, where this is just basic hard plastic. And all together, all the way across the board, it seems a little more kind of upscale. Now, this is produced by an outfit called HEARFALCOM. I think I got that right. Again, links in the description. They have some pretty good information about this. Now, there's one thing that I noticed, and I tend, when I buy these things off of Amazon listings, I read their advertising nomenclature just to see if I'm, in case something comes up later, I can reference that as being either, a lie or an exaggeration. Something they didn't lie or exaggerate is this. They mention in pretty bold letters that the internals on this, and they refer to it as shrapnel. They said in the sales literature, they say we've upgraded the shrapnel inside. So I'm guessing the hard components and the springs and whatnot inside of this have been upgraded for whatever reason unknown to me. But they say that it takes a pretty good bit of effort to get this thing plugged in, and they mention that it will loosen up after a while. So let me go ahead and see if I can even, oh, whoa, there we go. Got it pulled out. You see how much force it took to pull that out. And going back in, now this will be the third time I've done this. Let's see if it's loosened up at all. It has actually. It has improved. So the big old monster mitts, it's not much of a problem, but I will tell you, if you feel a good bit of resistance on this thing going in, my experience has been keep pushing, it'll get better. And yeah, it does finally seat, and then once it does, and true to what they said, each time it's gotten a little less dramatic on doing this, but the first couple of times I sort of thought this was a semi-permanent installation. But it's in there to stay. This thing is not going to come loose. But as I said, it works just fine, and it plugs into a Yaesu FT-65, which I can't be happier about. Also, I should add, it'll go with an FT-4X as well, which is the baby brother of this radio. Both of them use the Motorola M1, but most people that are using these kind of radios in this sort of application are going with FT-65s anyway. But if you have an FT-4X, it'll work with that as well. So that kind of wraps it up. Yes, there is a solution for the Yaesu FT-65, and it's any of these that have the Motorola 2-pin plug connection. So with that, I will bring it to a close. Thank you for watching and or listening. And again, Again, there will be links in the description. Add one other reminder that Spectre Gear is my day job, so any patronage of Spectre Gear on your behalf helps support this channel and keep things like this happening, gives me money to buy headsets and PTTs and all other kinds of stuff. So following on from this, I'll be periodically providing you with different solutions. Next up will probably be the single pin Yaesu connectors, so that I can work these with my FT-60s and FT-70s and FT-5 and FT-3DRs. We'll see how that goes, because I have heard there's some issues with the plugs not seating because of the base, but we'll cross that bridge when there's a bridge to cross. So again, thanks for watching and or listening. This is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee from Visalia, California. Have a wonderful day.